So the third part in here is about the drawings in BIM. So up to here you understood about the comprehension of BIM, and let's just go for an important question here. So in fact, in BIM project, we have three important roles: BIM modeler, BIM coordinator, and BIM manager. First of all, let's go for BIM modeler. Modeler, in fact, is a very important part of a team. So a person who creates the three models of a project, and the different information will be entered to the software by this person. So based on the drawings and designs and some other information, he or she will create different models that they can be shared among all members of the teams. So for example, a structural BIM modeler can have the responsibility like modeling of the beams, columns and other things. Or an architectural modeler will model the walls or doors into the file with due attention to the files. So the point that we have exactly in here, modeler should be aware of different standards of BIM or level of development or exchange formats or such, these kinds of examples. Simply, modeler is a person who models and different things, and it will enter the information into the project. The second role will be BIM coordinators. So when some modelers are working in one project, a person should be exactly as a kind of coordinator and coordinates these models that we won't have any kind of problems. And if we find any kind of problems, that person will inform the different teams to solve this problem or those problems. So that person is coordinator of the team. The main work of the coordinator is that in the first step, it will combine different models, and then it will go for clash detection. It will get sure that all teams are working according to the standard. So let's assume that we have an office tower project. The coordinator will take the structural, architectural, and mechanical models, and it will check them through the some softwares like Navisworks, and then it will check that, for example, we have any clashes with pipes, walls, or other things, and if it finds any kind of clashes, it will report that clash to the teams, that those teams will solve that problem or those problems. The coordinator is, in fact, a kind of connection bridge between BIM managers and actually we can say modelers. And finally, let's go for BIM manager. BIM manager is the highest person in this hierarchy. So the person that will design all of the strategy and leads that actually in this project, and it is in contact with the client. So BIM manager has a kind of duty to check that everything is happening based on the we can say international standards like ISO 19650 or PAS 1192, and also it must have a kind of a duty to check all of the responsibilities and everything that is going to happen through the project, and it has to define them for every kind of person in through the team. So BIM manager should prepare or provide BEP. That in the next parts, of course, you will get familiar with BEP. But if I'm going to just tell you in summary, it is like a kind of roadmap, and it will outline the project strategies for effective BIM implementation. Yeah. So we can say if modelers will create the drawings and coordinators will coordinate them, BIM managers are those people who set and for example define the roles. So let's tell it better. Let's go for an example. Let's assume that we have a kind of project, hospital project, for example, and modelers will model the walls, structures and other things. Coordinator will check the model to get sure that any pipes don't have any kind of clashes with beams, walls, or other things. And BIM manager will check that all of these works are exactly getting done based on BEP and standards of the project. And as a kind of result, the final project should be ready for actually submission to the client. So the job way in BIM will be in these three parts. Many people will start from BIM modeler, and after having some experiences, they will be BIM coordinators, and finally, after comprehension of some strategies, they could be BIM managers. So, actually, if you are modelers right now, you should know that this is the beginning, and your way is completely clear. Just you have to have experiences, and you have to learn the skills of the managing of different things. And in the next parts, of course, we'll talk about them more. So finally, you have to remember that each of these roles will be like chain, and then they are linked with each other. So getting to successful in a kind of BIM is the time that, for example, modelers model different things, coordinators do their work smartly, and BIM managers will lead very nice the project to the right direction. So each part that you have to know that you are a kind of vital person for the project, and each step will be really important for you.